DC Legends is a brand new mobile game that gives you the power to team up your favorite heroes and villains to take down Necron and his army of manhunters. We've got game designer Dugan here to take us inside DC's latest video game adventure. So what kind of a game is DC Legends?
This is a role-playing game for mobile devices. So it's a strategy game where you're taking a bunch of different characters from the DC universe, both heroes and villains, and you're gathering and collecting them and putting them on a team together.
Yeah.
So a lot of the fun of the game is that we know what happens when Superman meets Doomsday against each other, but what happens when you put Superman and Doomsday on the same team together and then throw in Black Canary and the Huntress, for instance?
Yeah. So you named a couple characters that hopefully are going to be in the game, I'm assuming.
They are.
What are
I guarantee they're in the game.
Okay.
Like, these are some of my favorites, so I'll make it my promise.
Nice. What are some of the other characters that fans can expect in the game?
Well, obviously, we're going to have the Trinity that you see: Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. We actually have a couple different versions of these characters in the game. So you can see, like, a Batman who is an expert martial artist Batman versus the world's greatest detective. We have a version of Wonder Woman, which is actually an exclusive pre-registration character for people who want to come to our DC Legends game website. Awesome. They can get this like kind of Amazon, old school Greek style Wonder Woman. But besides just those heroes, we're also going to have more obscure characters like, you know, Chemo, who's like a really great villain, Mirror Master. You know, you can see Lex Luthor and Joker and Harley Quinn. A lot of the favorites are going to be in the game.
How different does it make the gameplay when you switch in and out different characters?
Well, each of the characters has a whole different set of abilities. One of the things we made sure to do is that we wanted the characters to have interesting gameplay and be distinct from each other, but also be really true to their lore.
Yeah.
So you get a character like, say, Batman, who's a martial artist, and Black Canary, who's a martial artist, but they play really differently. Batman is a character who can strike from the shadows. He can go and cloak himself and then deliver these devastating attacks, whereas Black Canary is like a defensive martial artist where she can turn her opponent's strengths against them.
Mm-hmm. So cool. So this is a game where you get to team up. How different is it playing community-wise versus like PvP?
So there's different strategies that you're going to be playing. That when you play through our story campaign, which there's an epic storyline where we're kind of taking a different version of the Blackest Night mythology, fighting Necron, the Lord of the Unliving. That you can play on your own, and you can assemble a team to fight different opponents there. But when you're playing against other players, it becomes about strategizing around who is this other person, what kind of a team have they put together.
Yeah.
You're going to discover that certain characters, like, say, Superman, might be really good for one thing, but Lex Luthor has an effective counter against him. So you start to ask yourself, okay, do I go with my A team of characters that I know really well? Oh, but when I'm facing this opponent, maybe I need to find somebody else in my roster.
Okay.
So having like a deep bench of characters is really important when you're competing against other players.
Awesome. So you mentioned kind of playing through the story. What exactly is the story for DC Legends?
So DC Legends, we worked with DC to come up with an epic storyline where you get to, you know, fight a great cosmic threat. Like I was saying, the Blackest Night mythology that we've seen in the comics, we're doing a different take on that. So Necron, the Lord of the Unliving, he is behind the scenes working a plot to get rid of life in the universe. You know, what he's done, though, is he has resurrected the Manhunter army, the robotic army that was the first kind of Green Lantern Corps. He's brought them back powered by, like, the energy of death and darkness. And he's actually wiped out most of the DC universe, the heroes and villains. But you, as the few survivors starting, are restoring the lost heroes from, like, the Nether Realm, and you're bringing them back and recovering, and that's how you start collecting these characters.
How different does each location make gameplay?
So the gameplay will vary at each location. Like when you go to Themyscira, you're going to be fighting Amazons and these kinds of characters that have been brought back from the dead by Necron and his forces. And you're going to go through these different levels and fight different iconic heroes and villains that are kind of associated with Themyscira. And each of them will have different gameplay. There's different strategies that you want to employ to be able to defeat these guys.
That's what you can expect in DC Legends, which is available for download on Android and iOS. Let us know what 4 characters would be on your super team lineup in the comments below. See you tomorrow.